Hey guys, how's it going? This is Glorious Fruit, and I'm here to talk about the Vision Pros by Apple. The only reason why I'm making this video is because Apple has failed to mention that whether it's sweat resistant or it can avoid condensation. The reason why I bring this up is because it's built so much similar to the AirPod Max, where for those of you who own the AirPod Max, you do. I'm pretty sure you guys noticed that there's little water droplets after pulling off the ear muff, and whether that's a bad thing or not, which is pretty much a bad thing, because for some of you guys, I've noticed on Reddit that it stopped working after a certain amount of time, and without AppleCare, that is a very expensive headphone. For the Vision Pros, um, there's very no mention. I was about to say very little, but there's no mention of any of that it can avoid. I've scoured through the internet, blogs, articles, and no mention of whether it's sweat resistant or it can avoid condensation. I do see, I notice that there's probably fans over here, so there's probably a reason why Apple did not mention that. But if they're not a pair of fans, then that's a big problem. Well, for one, you're gonna have your eyes heating up after maybe a certain amount of time, because I know there's gonna be people out there are gonna be using it at more than just the 2 hours of the battery life it has. And aside from heating up your own face, it could develop some condensation or some sort of sweating, because there's people out there that sweat. Because I know for sure there's probably gonna be someone or some handful of people are gonna be using it on a treadmill, walking on a treadmill while watching something on the Vision Pros. In terms of condensation, after sitting down on your favorite couch or chair or whatever, you're watching your movies, shows, replying to messages, emails, you might want to sit down and stay there for an hour or two or longer, and you know before putting them on, they're cool to the touch, but when you have them on your head, their temperature changes, and if it heats up just from your face, it could develop water droplets. But the problem is, uh, you'll probably see some water droplets inside the device and not outside where your eyes are. Well, who knows? Maybe you can, but that's the only part you can wipe off. But what do you do with the water droplets that are inside the device? You can't pull out the glass part of the Vision Pros and wipe it off or dry it off. What do you do then? You probably wasted almost $4,000 on the very most expensive device out there. And I have to point that out, that this is probably the most expensive mobile device Apple has ever created. This what once was the MacBook Pro's the most expensive device out there, mobile device for Apple. And so this is probably highly recommended to get the Apple Care. For those, and that's for those of you who are hell bent on getting that. You're gonna avoid any warnings that maybe some YouTubers or people with blogs and articles that might make in the future. Definitely get Apple Care. Don't cut corners. Probably not. Don't try to save 70 or $100 on Apple Care, because otherwise you're at some point in the future you're going to be dumping close to $4,000 to the trash can. I believe another warning for those of you who are hell bent on getting it: definitely wait a month after. Don't get it on the day of release. Trying to impress on friends, or trying to show you have some kind of high status or whatever, that you got them since day one. Please don't. There's probably going to be issues going on the first month, and I'm saying this based on experience on certain Apple products. For example, is their first gen app, the AirPod Pros. I grabbed on since the day of release, a month or two after I heard buzzing sounds in one of my earbuds. Thankfully Apple came up with the whole extended warranty thing, because the ones that came out since the from day of release, those ones had major issues. For some reason, they had major buzzings. Anything after that, after the month, supposedly the AirPod Pros were much better made in comparison to the ones on day one release. But yes, if you're hell-bent on it, get AppleCare. Wait after a month, see what people say after a month, whether it's a YouTuber or a blogger or someone who's in charge of the tech articles. I highly doubt that the Vision Pros will do very great on the first month. Probably in sales, it will do really good for those of you who are big Apple fans. But in terms of what could happen, it's a very big who knows. And that's a lot of money to dump into these devices. And hopefully some of you are wise enough to wait. And I believe that's all I have to say, because, it really bothered me that Apple has not come out and say that these are sweat resistant or it can avoid condensation. Because Apple should know their own audience, their own consumers, that what most of them won't avoid what they'll use this on, because I can see someone trying to use this walking on the treadmill, hopefully not jogging, because they're very heavy. Who knows if the band will be able to hold their head. Also, not to mention, it'll probably whack your own eyes. For people who are just sitting down and chilling, who knows? Who knows what can happen, because there's a whole condensation issue that Apple has failed to mention. I mean, it's not an issue yet, but hopefully it's not. And what else? What other problems could present itself? Other than that, is very expensive MacBook Pro, because it has the M2 chip and it has the R1 chip, or specifically dedicated, well, as it says, for camera, so you can take photos, I guess, which is, I guess, it's kind of cool and all, but just if it does has that issue where it's not sweat resistant or condensation, you're basically gonna have issues with the sensors where they get wet. They probably will go out of whack. The speakers themselves, they could shut off on you, just like how the AirPod Max have issue connecting with the iPhone or iPad or any other device, just because probably the night before you were using them, and then you failed to leave them out in the open. You put them back in the case, and so that's all that little water droplet still stayed, and it's still moist inside in the AirPod Max. This could happen, the same thing for this. Hopefully not. And I'm just making this video for nothing, but I feel like I should bring out this awareness that for those of you who are hell-bent on getting it, regardless of what issues it could bring up, I say wait for a month, get AppleCare, and just to avoid yourselves those headaches. But yeah, it's one of those devices where you have a very bad feeling about, but other than that, it looks really cool. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I hope you guys take my warning or awareness, whatever you would want to call this video, to heart, that if you're very excited to get these, do wait a month, get AppleCare, spend that extra $75 to $100 on this device for AppleCare, and let me know in the comments, are you excited to get these, and or do you think these are not the right device for you? Let me know in the comments what you think, and I will see you guys next time on whatever video I decide to make. But do hit that like and subscribe button, and just so I can provide more videos for you guys, like similar to these tech videos. But yeah, see you guys.